This video is brought to you by the EA Game Changers program here at Gamescom in Germany.
Hey guys, welcome to another video here on the Chesnoy Gaming channel from FIFA 20 live at Gamescom and literally streaming right now as well. So there'll be some live streams over the next couple of days. Follow the link in the description to my Mixer channel to make sure you can catch them live. But we're going to be having a look at the Premier League budgets that are in game this year. We have the full version of Career Mode available to us to live stream over on Mixer and obviously to make YouTube content as well. There's no embargo either, so I'm literally live right now and YouTube videos are going to be on the way over the next few days. We'll start, we'll work our way through, we'll have a look at the transfer budgets and we'll also have a look and see what the base board expectations are for each club in the Premier League here. If you'd like to see other leagues as well, do let me know in the comment section down below. Do let me know in the chat over on Mixer as well, and we'll have a look at league budgets for other leagues. This video will be purely the Premier League. Now you would imagine, of course, as it's the English game and this pure volume of money in the English game with the TV deals, etc., the transfer budgets in this league are going to be higher than they are elsewhere. But we'll start with Bournemouth here, as you can see. It's the first team alphabetically this year down as AFC Bournemouth, so they come before Arsenal. Transfer budget of £34.4 million, which is actually quite small. That's not a very big budget, but there's barely any expectations for you here. As you can see, domestic success, brand exposure, financial and youth development all set to low, and continental success, obviously, for Bournemouth is going to be set to very low because they're not involved in any European football. So with that amount of money, you can improve slightly, but they do have a decent squad at Bournemouth to start off with, but obviously you're going to want to improve. With that money you might have to sell a couple of players to improve the squad depth, but there's genuine room for growth there. Bournemouth is probably going to be a side you're going to want to start at and buy some younger players that are going to grow rather than already established players that could go straight into the first team. So we'll have a look moving further forwards. Arsenal's budget is only 69.7 million. Now, obviously, in real life, they said publicly that they only had a £40 million transfer budget and then went and spent like 60 to 80 million pounds on Nicola Pepe. So don't necessarily believe all you read on the internet when it comes to teams publishing their budgets. But Arsenal have obviously signed David Luiz from Chelsea as well. Their transfer budget here in game is going to be 70 million. So you've already got some new signings at the club, and then a sizable budget there to make a couple of additions as well. But as expected with one of the larger clubs, high domestic success, high continental success, medium for financial and youth development, but brand exposure, as for all the big clubs I would imagine, is critical as well. Moving forward from Arsenal, Aston Villa, a new club in the league this year, of course, promoted from the Championship again. Villa Park was already in the game anyway, I believe, but of course now that they're promoted, Villa Park definitely in the game. £35.6 million budget. It's surprising to see Aston Villa with a bigger budget than Bournemouth, who are an already established Premier League team, although of course Aston Villa are a massive club. Very low domestic success. You would imagine that just purely avoiding relegation would be enough for them. Continental success also very low, obviously. High brand exposures. They try and re-establish themselves as a Premier League team. Medium youth development and low financial expectations, so you don't have to worry about the money too much at all. Brighton, a £30.4 million budget for them. Barely any expectations with your on-field experience at all. So again, just staying in the league is going to be enough season one. Brand exposure and financial set to medium. So you are going to have to be slightly careful with your finances, but you should be okay to push through. Burnley, a small budget of 23.8. They've had a couple of seasons in the Premier League now, Burnley, where everyone expected them to go down and they've performed better than that and actually been solidly mid-table. This year could be a really tough year for Burnley. With a small transfer budget and not the best squad, it's going to be difficult for you, but that's the challenge, especially on ultimate difficulty, of course. High financial expectations, so they are going to want you to put emphasis on improving the financial situation at the club, and that's your main point of focus, because very low domestic and continental and very low brand exposure and youth development. So make sure the money's there, and theoretically, success should follow. At Chelsea, now, of course, I'm going to be starting my first career mode at Chelsea on FIFA 20. I'm personally, for my series, going to have a transfer ban. I don't believe, we'll find out when we go in, but I don't believe that Chelsea will have a transfer ban in-game. It's not set up that way, but you'll be able to manually, of course, yourself, disable the first transfer window when you go into the game, when you set it up, and also, obviously, will be manually not making any transfer players, sales or buying when I start my save on YouTube. If you want to start at Chelsea and you do want to have a first transfer window, you have a really sizable budget of £86.1 million. Understandably, high domestic and high continental success expected at Chelsea, as you would imagine. Critical brand exposure, they've got a lot of money anyway, so financial is low. Youth development is very low, so they probably might not even expect much of you at all at Chelsea. However, obviously, if you do enact the transfer ban, you are going to have to want to lean towards youth like Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, Reece James, players like that to bring through, and you'll have to artificially put yourself some expectations in there for youth development, because you're going to need those players to perform for you, because you won't be able to buy anyone else until next season. Obviously, again, to repeat, in-game, I don't believe there is a transfer ban, but you can obviously just not buy anyone yourself. Moving forward, Crystal Palace, £32.6 million budget for them. Wilfried Zaha, obviously their talisman. Low domestic success, low brand exposure and youth development. Medium financial, so if you found yourself in a situation where you did have to sell someone to satisfy the board, Zaha would be the go-to as your highest value player. But obviously, you sell your best player, you're not going to be as good. With 32.6 million, you can make some additions, and it's going to be good enough to improve the team. Palace are decent. Palace are a solid team, really good starter team with a bit of a challenge and some scope for growth. Everton, £48.2 million budget for them. Obviously, they brought in Moise Kean from Juventus. Big signing for them. They confirmed Andre Gomez as permanent now rather than on loan from Barcelona. And a couple of other signings as well make Everton look like a really strong outfit. Alex Iwobi in from Arsenal for about £30 million in real life. So you've already an improved squad from last year before you start career mode. With medium domestic and continental success and youth development, Everton traditionally do like to bring the kids through the youth setup. High brand exposure and low financial. Probably qualifying for the Europa League would be a solid first season at Everton, but there's the quality of squad there to genuinely challenge the top four in the first season, especially if you can spend that £50 million right. At Leicester, the last side outside of the top four to win the Premier League, £42.5 million budget for them. You are going to have to replace Harry Maguire though. Medium domestic continental success expected, medium brand exposure, low financial and low youth development. Your main port of call is probably going to be at the back. You've got players like James Maddison that are going to be really good for you. Obviously, Jamie Vardy is a consistent performer up top. Kasper Schmeichel is a quality goalkeeper. There's a decent team at Leicester, and with £42 million, you certainly could improve and, of course, boost yourself with a Harry Maguire replacement as well. Liverpool, £97.3 million budget. Sorry, £97.8 million budget. The biggest we've seen so far. Critical domestic success expected. You have to win the league. High continental success expected. Probably reach the Champions League final. Brand exposure is critical as well. There's loads of money at the club, so low financial and low youth development at Liverpool as well. Do bring the odd player through the youth development course though at Liverpool, so you can of course look to youth if you would like to, but with that transfer budget and already a rock solid squad, you're going to want to look to already established high rated quality players at Liverpool. And obviously with the additions they've made so far this season, they look like a really decent team. 97.8, that's definitely, and with the squad they already have, definitely Premier League title challenging already. Manchester City, I'm sorry, how big does that budget want to be? £167 million in the transfer budget for Manchester City to start. Obviously, they've already made some signings in real life as well. Joao Cancelo is in, with Danilo going the other way to Juventus. They've got Rodri from Atletico Madrid, and then £167 million to add to that as well. Domestic, continental and brand exposure, all at critical. You have to do the treble, at least at Manchester City, if you want to keep your job. Low youth development, obviously low financial expectations there as well. Manchester United, very, very similar. In fact, a larger budget at Manchester United than you get at Manchester City, £167.4 million at Manchester United. That's a surprise. High domestic and high continental success, so you're not expected to achieve quite as much at United as you are at City. Brand exposure is critical, financial very low, and youth development high. So you're not only expected to buy talent, you're also expected to grow talent through your youth academy as well. That's going to be a challenge, but obviously the squad is already very, very good. You've players like Daniel James they've just brought in, and other youth players coming through the system as well. Already established youth players coming through like Rashford and Lingard, etc. So there's a lot to be done at Manchester United, and there's a lot you can do with a £167 million budget. Newcastle's not as good, £23.9 million, one of the smallest budgets we've seen so far. Mike Ashley clearly not willing to splash the cash much in career mode as well as real life. They have of course brought Joe Linton though, so that's a new signing in, but obviously they've lost Iosi Perez to Leicester. Low domestic success, low continental success, that's fine. high brand exposure, high financial, medium youth development. You're going to need to concentrate off the field first before you can concentrate on the field at Newcastle. But staying up should be a priority, and then obviously from there you can push forward and try and achieve higher up. One of the standout players for one of the new teams this season, Timu Pukki at Norwich, banging hat-trick against Newcastle United. He's going to be your starting striker at Norwich City, of course, isn't he? Very low expectations domestically, so just stay up in the Premier League. Continental success, very low as well, not involved in European competition. Medium financial, medium youth development, that's completely fine. You'll be able to achieve as much as you possibly could at Norwich with that budget and with that squad. Staying up shouldn't be too much of a problem. At Sheffield United, there's only a £17 million budget. This is going to be the biggest challenge of all the teams in the Premier League to try and keep up. However, of course, Bramall Lane now in the game. Sheffield United fans will be absolutely buzzing at that. Domestic success and continental success, very low. Brand exposure low, financial critical, and medium youth development. Obviously, with such a low budget, you're going to want to raise the financial situation of the club as best you can by performing well season one, getting that Premier League prize money in, and then making sure that you spend that well second season. You're going to have to stay up. Apologies if you can hear the announcement going on over the tannoy through the mic. Southampton up next, £33.3 million budget for them. Domestic success is low, continental success is low. Brand exposure and financial both set to medium, and youth development high. Southampton obviously have a history of bringing through fantastic talent through their youth system, and you're going to want to continue to do that. Perhaps don't sell everybody to Liverpool, but you might have to sell a handful of players to be able to get the budget to compete and bring in top quality players. Or alternatively, with the high youth development expectation, bring through your own talent, make sure you build from within and build for the future at Southampton. At Spurs, £72 million budget for Tottenham Hotspur. Domestic success and continental success both high. Brand exposure critical. Obviously, their brand new stadium that was in FIFA 19 is going to be in again, of course. Medium financial expectations and youth development is also set to high. Solid budget. And with players like Tanguy and Ndombele already brought into the club, you're going to be able to build on that. But 72 million isn't that much in the modern playing climate. So it perhaps might be slightly difficult to get the quality of player in for squad depth. But certainly Spurs are a side that could compete for the Premier League title year one. But whether you'll actually win it or not depends on your own FIFA ability. If it was me, probably not. You guys are much better than me in a lot of cases. So definitely try Spurs, try and win the league season one if you can. At Watford, £36.4 million budget, low domestic success, low continental and low financial as well. Barely any expectations here at Watford other than just trying to get some brand exposure out there, sell some shirts, maybe sign one marquee player to boost shirt sales. With that £36.4 million budget, you'll be able to improve. Watford, I guess, aiming to finish top half or maybe sneak into a Europa League spot. Certainly should be staying up in the Premier League with Watford. West Ham, £48.5 million budget for them. Medium domestic success and high brand exposure. The only two real ports of call for a West Ham United manager. Top half, certainly for West Ham with the squad they've got. But whether you can take them that step on season one, again, is going to depend on your own individual FIFA ability. And then the last team in the list, Wolverhampton Wanderers, held Manchester United to a 1-1 draw last night as I'm recording this with a cracking goal from Ruben Neves. Absolute banger. Medium domestic success expected of you on the field. Brand exposure is medium, financials low, and youth development is also medium. £40-odd million is enough to improve. And obviously, Wolves are a side that managed to finish very high in the Premier League in their first season last year and are going to want to look to build on that. It might be hard to compete having the Europa League football there as well, season one, but very low continental success expected of you, so you don't need to necessarily perform there. It doesn't matter if you go out in the group stage, and then you can concentrate on maybe trying to qualify for the Champions League maybe, or concentrate on the FA Cup and get yourself European qualification that way if the league's not going your way. But there's a lot of money to spend at almost every single Premier League club this year, and obviously as you move through the save with a massive amount of TV money coming in and prize money at the end of each season, big budgets in the Premier League, big name players all coming to arguably, and in my opinion, the best league and the most competitive league in the world. Who are you going to choose? Let me know in the comment section down below who are the players that you're going to want to sign in your first season. Let me know which way you're going. Perhaps you could influence my decisions in the Chelsea career mode once we get past that first season transfer ban. The Chelsea career mode for me will start once we get access to the full game on early access on EA Access, which which I believe is the 19th of September. But if there's anything else you'd like to see from this Gamescom capture event, then do let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try and get something recorded for you. Those of you watching live on stream, if there's anything else you want to see, do let me know in the chat and I'll act upon it and we can show you that in game. But for now, here on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Do make sure you subscribe to the channel to catch all of the future content coming. Make sure you drop the video a like as well to let me know that you're enjoying seeing in FIFA 20 here on the channel, and I'll see you next time.